So this is it?
Yes. This is MFV Smiling Morn.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome aboard. Today she's still floating.
We're sat on this beautiful old boat. And how much did she cost you?
She cost me 1 penny.
A bargain?
Oh, a misleading bargain. She's needs a lot of work, which I'll be hopefully doing over the next few years.
So where do you find a boat for a penny?
Well, I was familiar with this boat through 2 or 3 previous owners. I'd seen it around. She's got most beautiful lines that the old Scottish MSVs have, and she's a Forbes yard one, so she was a good build originally anyway. And the previous owner was faced with sort of demolishing her, scrapping her, or giving her to an enthusiast. So he decided to pass on to me for the sum of a penny.
Were you actually looking for a boat at the time, or did you just couldn't resist a bargain?
No, I already have 1 wooden boat, and I thought 2 wooden boats is absolute madness. But I've always just admired this boat, and I thought it would be a nice thing to take on and spend my time developing, and also turning it out of being a liveaboard and into an art studio. She's built in 1933 at Forbes Yard in Scotland, and so far this year she's sunk twice. With previous owners, they decided that the best thing to do, rather than scrap her, was to just let an enthusiast take her on. So a grand sum that I bought her for was £1.05 for the paperwork and a penny for the boat, which we worked out was roughly the equivalent of a shilling in modern money.
So we're in the cargo hold.
Yeah.
Okay. Looks very comfortable.
Comfortable's an optimistic term, but eventually, hopefully, it will. Most of down here has really been demolishing, so I can get to the hull and the framework and the ribs, and also making space for the new log burner to go in, which would warm it up and dry it out. As you can see, it's quite cold and damp down here at the moment.
But now, there's a story about this clock, isn't there?
Yes, in the clearing out, if I just wobble it, you can see the tide mark and the water in it. In the clearing out, this clock was still on the wall. There was a little bit more water in it at the time, but it's filled with water from where she sunk, and the time is also the time that she submerged up to clock level. So I think I need to keep this filled with water as a memorial of the day she sunk. However, I'm in here, I'm cleaning. We want to start painting and get this all done, and the log burner, which will be fitting into this flue, will hopefully arrive in the next couple of days and help start warming it up and drying it out. The idea of this space is it's somewhere I can set easels up and do some larger canvases under the natural light coming down, and also put in seating that runs all the way around the boat, and use it as a bit of a fun space for creative things, I think. I'm a wooden boat enthusiast. She's got beautiful lines. She's got a lovely canoe stern. The line and the curvature of the decks is very typical of the early Scottish MFVs. She's got a beautiful wheelhouse, which is what we're sitting in now.
So tell me a little bit more about the boat, Tony.
She's 55 foot overall. Beam offhand I think is around 23 foot. She's quite beamy. So yeah, it's 23 foot. And her draft is I think 6 foot offhand. So she's quite deep. But interesting is she's got a Gardner 6 kilowatt lump in the back, which is what shoves her along at the dizzying speed of 6 knots, I'm told. But as they were built in those days, is the forward section to balance the weight, is her bilges were filled with concrete, which initially I looked at with absolute horror, thinking, how am I going to check the woodwork on that? But actually on further investigation and also talking to other owners of similar boats, is that actually it's a remarkably good way of preserving the wood, because it's sandwiched between concrete and seawater. So the planking actually around there is quite good, and it counteracts the weight of the engine nicely.
You're doing your housework then?
Yeah. Unfortunately, where the boat's been quite neglected, there's plenty of dirt, plenty of rotten wood, and various other debris on deck, which I'm going to be sweeping off before giving her a good scrub.
So have you done any serious sort of sums about what this boat's going to possibly cost you?
I've done the back of a napkin calculations, and what I'd worked out is very similar to, or per month, what I'm currently paying in rent for a studio which is about the size of this wheelhouse in London. So my plan is to put her back into a working boat, put her into a usable space, and then the rent that I would have been paying in London can go into replanking, new deck panels, or new fittings. Come on, you. That's it. Here they come. There we are. There's a teacup.
There we go.
That's it. This is the ship's dog. Technically, I think she's the captain.
Oh, is she? Well, they always take over, don't they? And she's a rescue.
She is. I found her outside a tea factory in Wales. She was only about this big. Hence why she got the name Teacup. And despite a couple of weeks of trying, we couldn't find any owners for her. And after speaking to the dog warden, I decided to adopt. This was in 2010. Oh.
So this is it?
Yes.
Don't sound so enthusiastic.
I think it's the immense of the work that I've decided to take on.
You're deep in thought, Tony.
A bit.
It's not surprising.
No, it's thinking of boats, paint and colour.
Not thinking about penny wise or pound foolish or something like that?
Oh, both of them.
I think you've got a real bargain here myself.
I hope so. I think I've got a lot of work, but thankfully I've got a lot of friends that are also willing to come over.